So, what do you want to do with me? Want to give me a good deal here? What do you think? What should I do? I want to get my phone. It's not going to be too late open up anyway. Yeah. Not going to be too late open up. Yeah. I want to get the studio. You know, I don't want to throw kids in the house. You know? Nobody else me. One of those. Hey, I'm just going to keep working on my body, keep developing my brain, read. Face straight up. Get this belly off me, and I feel really good. Once I get this belly off me, I feel really good. Yeah. Okie doke. Let's see how we doing. Check the status. How y'all doing? We're going live on this.
We're going live. Frankie Russo. Yeah. Frankie Russo live. Frankie Russo live. Let's see how we doing. What up, Danny K? Status. Frankie Russo coming at you straight out of Brooklyn. We're popping tonight. We're going live on this. What's up, Jonathan, on Facebook Live? We're getting it going tonight. We're going live. Frankie Russo. We got a few things in the hopper. Frankie Russo live. You got to go to my app. Frankie Russo. Hey, Pay. Frankie Russo in the Apple Store. Frankie Russo. Download America's Team. And/or you go to you got an Android. You go to Google Play. Put in Frankie Russo, and there we go. Off to the races. So how you all doing tonight? I saw Kaylee McEnany. She put the hit in. What up, Danny? Who's this? Who's this Jay? Who's Jay? Who's Jay? I hope that's a girl. I start to get. I hope that's a girl. What's up, Jonathan, on Facebook? Oh yeah, where'd you see that? We're getting it going tonight. Oh, it's Jasmine. What's up, Jasmine? Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Hey, Jasmine. I don't know who that is, but God bless you. Thank you for the kind words. Pay. Who's the who did they sanction? Send me the tweet. You gotta join my app. Frankie Russo. Put it in the Apple Store. America's Team. It's free. Thank you, Pay. Thank you for the retweets. And you gotta go to the Google Play. Put in Frankie Russo, Jasmine, and join. It's free. Right now we're broadcasting Facebook Live. Thank you, Pay. Oh my goodness. So Jasmine is trying to make a date with me over the I'm in the scope. Jasmine, why don't you join up on my app? Frankie Russo, Apple Store, America's Team. You'll see it's free. And then you got the if you got an Android, and you go live right into your phone. And/or I'm live on my website. My website's going loony on me. I don't know what the hell's going on. My website's going loony. We're gonna get popping. You gotta go to my app, Frankie Russo. Hey, Pay. Frankie Russo in the Apple Store. Monica, yo, cool. Was what Bill Clinton said. Put in Frankie Russo. Let's catch the virus together. Oh my goodness. So how you all doing tonight? This chicken here wants to catch the virus together. There are no words. Who's this? There are just, you know, there are no words. So listen, we're gonna start moving. Bonnie and Clyde. Okay. America's team. You'll see it's free. Oh, because now it's live. You go to my website, frankierusso.media, you see me there. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, we're there. iPhone, we're there. We simultaneously are streaming to 5 different devices or platforms. Crazy. So, but anyway, thank you for visiting Frankie Russo tonight. Our great President Donald John Trump had another great day. So before we get to a few things I want to talk about, I just want to hit on a few things and see what's going on. Let me go to this aggregate. So our great president is predicting a swift economic recovery. Today he talked about third quarter. Obviously, the second quarter is going to be a rough one. Third quarter on the come up. Fourth quarter. Jasmine's really trying hard with Frankie Russo. Oh my God. This is crazy. I've never had anybody on my show like supposedly a girl. I hope it's a girl, because then I'll get a you give me a complex if it's not. Because you don't know with social media, you just don't know. It's crazy. Crazy. So we got President Trump's predicting a third quarter and then a fourth quarter like tremendous, and next year he said it's going to be off the hook. He didn't say it like that. I said it. So in addition, he's talking about this pent up demand. So, which is according to Larry Kudlow, the senior economic advisor, there's some evidence to support that. So it's looking great with based on everything that we've gone through, and I attribute this to the yeoman-like work our great president has done in reference to the economy. I mean, he built arguably the greatest economy in the history on the planet. Most employed people on the planet. Oh, you'll be waiting for me later, Jasmine? Okay. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Don. Thank you for the shares on Facebook Live. Thank you, my brother. So that's what we're looking over there. Now, they came out with this poll. Biden, they got Biden up by 11 points. I don't believe it. They did the same thing to Trump in 2016, where they suppressed all his numbers and they all got whacked, right? So, the greatest upset in the history of U.S. presidential elections, and and they suppressed his numbers. He had like 90% plus negative in the news cycle, 90% negative against Trump, over 90%. So you wonder why between the polls and then the mythology and the random sampling of the polls, how they're positioned and skewed to be against Trump. So obviously the polls are going to be bad. Everything is not going to be for Trump. And that's what happened in 2016. And obviously they're doing it again, getting close. Hey, what up, Mike? What up, my brother? So that's what's popping over there, right? What's really crazy is I was watching Fox News and they're talking about vice presidents for Biden. And I think, I hope they pick that Michigan chick. She looks good and everything, but that's about it. She's got nothing upstairs. No. Absolutely, Mike. I was watching. They got this poll that came out. Biden's up by 11 points in the national poll. I think that's ridiculous. I think here they go again, right? another, the mythology, the guaranteed the mythology and the random sample doesn't reflect the population. So that's how this happens, right? So fine. They did the same thing in 16, and so we got that going on. Now they're talking about a vice president that they're talking about this chick from Michigan. I think they're crazy. And it's nuts. Kamala Harris, that's crazy. The chick Amy Klobuchar, I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, Joe Biden needs a tremendous makeover. Quite frankly, he's I mean, the top of the ticket. No matter how hey, what's up, Happy Camper? No matter how you slice this and dice this, what's up, my brother? In this election, though the political landscape has changed based on 40 years ago, right? President Trump has rewritten the presidential campaign strategy book. His model is going to be the model for the future. His campaign model is the model for the future. He's got social media on steroids, the rallies. He's getting data from the rallies. I mean, he's got a ground game now, and he's raising money hand over foot, $200 million every quarter. So what are we talking about over here, right? In essence, what are we talking about, right? Joe Biden? Come on. This vice president's going to win? No. They could put Michelle Obama there, they're going to lose. The question is, we need the coattails. Because we got to get rid of Pelosi, Nadler, Schiff. We got to get rid of these rats, right? So, and interestingly, it came up, they're calling for mail. See, we talked about this, right? They're going to try to steal the election. I think Michigan, let me get this right, Michigan called in for mail-in ballots already. 7 million mail-in ballots. So now, President Trump, okay. So this is what happened with Michigan as well, right? Michigan has a dam issue. So President Trump's going to Michigan on their, unfortunately, Michigan got hit. Not only did they get hit with the COVID, they got this crazy governor, plus they have a dam issue, right? The dam broke in Michigan, so that's a big thing. That's a problem, right? So with the grace of God, they get that straightened out, right? But in addition, let's see, Michigan's mail-in ballot. There's a mail-in ballot issue. See, President Trump is on this. He's on it. So Michigan's absentee ballot policy, because they're saying that right, because President Trump is worried. President Trump is worried that the election officials in these Democratic states are going to retreat from measures meant to facilitate mail-in voting. So President Trump is concerned, and he's watching this like a hawk, and rightly so. We called this, right? We see either President Trump winning like 2016 or winning in a landslide, okay? Either way, Trump is winning. Trump's got too much up right now. And all he's got to do is get the economy and the overall feel and vibe of the country trending in the right direction by November, and he's fine, I think. At the very least, 300 electoral votes, win handily, or you can win like a landslide, like Reagan-esque. Very plausible. I mean, Joe Biden is, but we cannot underestimate the opposition. They could be hiding him in the basement and then try to steal this thing, right, with mail-in ballots. And that's what President Trump is watching. So he's watching with Michigan. He's concerned that Michigan's absentee ballot policies, if he's watching them very closely to make certain that the election officials over there do not retreat from measures meant to facilitate mail-in voting. So he's afraid that a lot of these Democratic states are going to, under the guise of, they're going to try to be slick, under the guise of absentee voting, they're going to retreat from measures meant to facilitate. So they're going to retreat from the absentee voting and go into measures to facilitate mail-in voting. That's part of the plan. Absolutely, Monica. It's terrible. What up, Jenny? It's terrible. God bless you, Jenny. Thank you for the visit. It's terrible, right? So basically, and that's what the problem is too. That's why they went after Trump, because when Trump did the hydroxychloroquine, they want to keep us in house arrest. They don't want the people to think, because I watched some doctors online and they did a lot. I watched a few doctors online. I don't know who these doctors are, but one of them had a whiteboard and he was breaking it down. He compared hydroxychloroquine to remdesivir, right? And the press was going crazy over remdesivir, and he said remdesivir the positiveness from remdesivir was very minute. Then when he talked about hydroxychloroquine, he said that some of the studies and the work that's been done with it, and he broke it down. Like, he had it on the board, but he broke it down on the board. I was really impressed. So, conceivably, the press, mainstream media, the stealth jihad radical Islamists, the House Democrats, really want to keep us in quarantine as long as they can, and then try to change the game on how the votes are tallied and how the votes are cast, right? Mail-in ballots. They're going to try to change the game. Absolutely. And that Michigan chick, she may look good, but that's about it. Top of the ticket wins. People don't go to the election. Go to the election. People don't go to the ballot. Go to the polls. Mail-in ballots are a risk for fraud. There, Hiker 12. You're probably a House Democrat. That's why. The only time you use a mail-in ballot for the sake of the president, right? The president's hometown is now Florida, so he's doing. Yeah, okay. Listen, Hiker, that's strike one, bro. You're not gonna come into my room and talk to me like I'll get rid of you. You know, you could come in with a contrary opinion, but you're not gonna talk to me like that. You're gone. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you, son. Whoever you are. That's strike one. I don't go strike three. I'm a baseball guy. I'm a sports guy. I don't go strike three. Strike two, you're out. Just so you know, okay? You don't have to be a Trump guy. I don't care. Because we talk about anything, son. So that's what's popping with that, right? So in addition, people are still waiting to see. There is Faba, whoever you are. I don't have I don't have a model in my hand constructed by the DNC, the stealth jihad radicalismists. I don't. So I don't know what that means. Well, we want people going to the polls with an ID and voting. That's what we want. Fair election. Early voting. We got more votes tallied than people that live in the districts. And now they're going to do mail-in voting. Forget about it. The ballot harvesting will be over the top. Over the top. Beyond belief. And with these swing states, because if you look at 2018, all of the close election, I would be willing to bet if there was of the 2018, if there was like 10 close elections, 9 of them was won by the Democrats because they are by any means necessary. I'm not saying the Republicans are choir boys, but the Democrats will do anything to win an election. They got to stuff ballots. If they got to stuff ballots, if they have to put voters in New Jersey and put them in a bus and ship them to another state to vote, the Democrats will do that. And there's been some documentation on that. The Democrats will do anything by any means necessary to win an election. It's beyond belief. So that's what's pretty much is popping in the news cycle. What do you mean how? Do me a favor, man. Go somewhere else, bro. You're ridiculous. So basically, that's how this way this thing is looking. The Democrats know that they can't get Trump on a straight up election. They know that. They don't have the candidate. They can talk all they want. Put Michelle Obama there. They're going to lose. The only shot they have with these close, they're hoping that the swing states are going to be close, is to try to steal it with the mail-in ballots. That's the only shot they have. On a straight up election where people are going to the polls, there's no way, in all likelihood, no probability, I think Trump would be like in the 70s, probably closer to the 80% chance of winning with a guy like Biden running. If Barry Sanders was running, I'm telling you, right, Elbow? So I mean, Trump is sitting on a. Thank you, Stephen Gary. Thank you for the retweets. Trump is sitting on a howitzer. He's got things he didn't have in 16. He didn't have a ground game in 16 that he's got today. I don't even think his social media was top notch. Today it's on steroids. He's running algorithm. I mean, Trump is doing stuff that his campaign is going to be the model for future campaigns. What he's doing with the rallies, the data that he's bringing I don't think he did that as much in 16 that he's doing today. The data he's getting from the rallies. He's getting data from the rallies about the people that attend the rally. I mean, he has got a system Trump is ready, and he's raising money, $200 million every quarter. Trump is locked and loaded. So that's the way this thing is going to play. It's really something what they're doing over here with New York. They got to open this thing up, man. But I'm getting my feeling. My gut is telling me June 13th they're talking, right? You feel bad for Joe. I don't, Elbow. I just I want Trump to win. That's it. Whatever Trump's got to do. They're talking about Trump. They're talking about going back to the rallies. Let's do whatever, because campaigns are momentum. We can't take anything for granted, right? In these times, you don't take anything for granted. You don't. There's so much deception, you don't know. Absolutely, dog. You don't know. There's so much deception, you just don't know. So it's like Trump's got to do the rallies. Trump's got to do everything. We got to act like it's 16. We can't act like, and we're facing, because we might as well, we're facing Hillary Clinton. He's from the same administration Hillary Clinton was from. So we got to act like this is ground zero. And, after this with the grace of God, this pandemic vanishes, and I think it will. We may have a absolutely. He's just as crooked as Hillary. Absolutely. But according to Obama, there were no scandals in his administration. I mean, I can name so many, it's beyond belief what they did. What they got away with is unbelievable. Even before they left, the weaponizing of the intelligence, the Obama Clinton crime family. I mean, it's unbelievable what they did over here. And mainstream media covers for them. They got people coming to the room, only God knows who they're from. They could be kids, or they could be, have an agenda. I don't know. But it's crazy. So Biden ain't winning, Elbow. Trump's winning. It's just by what margin? Trump's going to win. The fail-safe is going to be the Hispanic vote, Florida. Trump wins Florida. Trump wins Florida. That's all he needs. Because Trump wins Florida, then he's going to win Ohio, and then the pathways open up. So it doesn't have to be the same way. Because we don't know what's going to happen in Minnesota. We don't know what's going to happen in Colorado, Nevada. We don't know. I just don't think Biden's got the enthusiasm. That's my opinion. There you go, Monarch. There you go, Elbow, right? And you also got to factor in, what up, dog? God bless you. We got to factor in, too, the way these Democratic governors are treating their people in their states. I mean, they're not only pissing off the Republicans, but the Democrats, too, with their tyrannical tactics, like Michigan, like California. August, he's not opening up LA till August. I'm telling you, Elbow, right? Maine, what they're doing in New York, in New Jersey, in Connecticut, in Massachusetts. These Democratic governors are the worst, man. The worst. It's crazy, dog. All they care, that's what I mean. I'm not saying that the Republicans are choir boys, but these Democrats, they'll win. They don't care how low they go. If they gotta say, well, under the guise, because President Trump is worried that they're gonna change the game under the guise of absentee voting, they're gonna change it and turn it into mail-in ballots. That's sick. He's giving checks to the illegal aliens, is Newsom. It's sick. It's sick. It really is. It's a disgrace. Disgraceful. So I was watching I was watching Fox News. It's crazy, Monarch. Wow, that's crazy, Elbow. That's crazy. That's insane. I was watching Fox News, and they were talking about the I agree with you, dog. I agree. I was watching uh, Fox News, and that thing with Susan Rice in that email before she left, that memo before she left, and all of the mainstream media is, oh, she wrote a memo, and why'd she do it? I mean, come on, man. You know what that memo reminded me of? That memo reminded me of Barack Hussein Obama's birth certificate. Because when I was broadcasting at 77 WABC, I always felt Yeah, but the point of that thing is it's like give me a break, right? That's uh, that's political intel 101, right? Barack Hussein Obama, absolutely, dog. Barack Hussein Obama had a fake birth certificate, so fake it was beyond belief, right? But all of the legal scholars were claiming there's wiggle room with Article 2, Section 1, a natural born American citizen. So what they did was they made that birth certificate so fake that everybody would talk about the birth certificate. And what did they do? They called us racist, Islamophobic, xenophobic. You're a Bertha. They even had a name for us. They called us a Bertha. Because what they didn't want us to talk about was Barack Hussein Obama's fraudulent selective service card. In 1980, Jimmy Carter was the president, and there was serious consideration for having a draft. So you had to be in the pool in 1980, in the selective service pool. So you had to register and put your card in the pool. Well, apparently, they had done a full Sheriff Joe and the cold case posse did a full. You went to school with Root, Wayne Root. Wow, I didn't see the whole blog, right? So wow, Elbow, that's cool. So what's the deal, Elbow? You went to school with Wayne Root. So what's the deal with Bama? Because according to Sheriff Joe and the cold case posse, they had it down to the piker stamp. Bama's selective service registration card was never mailed. So according to the federal law, if you have a fraudulent, oh, I got you. And he said he never met him, right? Elbow. So if you have a fraudulent selective service registration card, if it's fraudulent, you can't serve in the executive branch of the United States government. That's crazy, Elbow, right? So now you take that and look at what Susan Rice did, right? She wrote a memo. So everybody's talking about this memo. Why did she write this memo? Why did she write the memo? Right? We know that these bureaucrats in the government are not gonna. I mean, if they do something if they actually do something with Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton, I mean, it'd be unbelievable, right? John Brennan, all the big names, James Comey, James Clapper, Michael Morrell, Leon Panetta, Eric Holder, Loretta Lynch. If they do with these people, I'd be floored, honestly, right? Because I always think about, what are they covering up? Why are they so afraid of Trump? What are they covering up? She puts an email in there saying, so that throws everybody off. Everybody goes, oh, she put a memo in there. So why? Why? Why do you think, right? It's like the DNC coming on the TV and telling everybody those like the Juan Williams and the like Juan Williams just reading DNC talking points, right? Why? They'll say, well, unmasking. The Obama administration have unmasked thousands, and the Trump administration has unmasked thousands. But wait. When did the rats in the Obama administration unmask the Trump administration? In the middle of a transition. They're out. They're gone. They unmasked Flynn, and apparently, according to our great president, Donald John Trump, Donald Trump Jr. was unmasked. And they leaked it to the press about Flynn. Crazy, right? weaponizing the intelligence agencies against Americans. The Maduro regime, I would expect that from. He's born in Bogota, Colombia, and he's the president, he's the prime minister. He heads up Venezuela. I'm trying to find out information because somebody in my room was telling me this thing about Trudeau and being Castro's son. I would love to find out more information on that because we have a real fuzzy narrative on Barack Hussein Obama. I don't believe Hawaii, right? Hillary Rodham Clinton is the other way. We have information on her, but there's a lot of deception about her information. You know, it's true, right? Right, Rod? The Maduro regime would do this stuff. Look at the Maduro regime. Obama, we don't know who he is. I don't believe Hawaii. Barack Hussein Obama. Hillary Rodham Clinton was born to two citizen parents, but there's so much deception with the Clintons. We don't know who she is in a lot of ways, right? We don't know. Is she an American Muslim convert? I think she might be. I think she is. Maduro was born in, his mother's from Bogota, Colombia. He is running Venezuela. They said he's not even Venezuelan. He turned Venezuela into Syria right now in the Western Hemisphere, right? Obama, what did Obama do? Obama stripped down the military, reduced our military, told everybody we'll never have more than 1%, 2% growth in this country. Those jobs are gone. Everything is gone, Obama told us. Obama told us, oh yeah, he gave 150 billion to the Khomeini. He wrote him 4 love letters, and he gave 1.7 as a side piece for the IRGC because he said the Hague said he had to do it, so he did the right thing for the world. He saved the world from a nuclear explosion, nuclear war. Like he sat on his hands, and Assad is chemical weaponizing its people, did nothing, right? They whacked Gaddafi, and he gave the Islamists in Libya 220,000 Soviet manpans and 400 FIM-92s, did the Obama-Clinton crime family. But this was great policy. This was great policy, according to mainstream media and mainstream intelligence. We actually had, like, the Obama-Clinton crime family was like the Maduro regime, with maybe a little more sophistication. They were gangsters, anti-American gangsters in the White House before President Trump got in. Anti-American gangsters. You look at the way they ran that State Department and what they did in the North African Middle Eastern region with weapons, money, and training with the radical Islamists. I'm telling you, Dinesh D'Souza was right in his documentary. The Obama-Clinton crime family was trying to construct the United States of Islam in that North African Middle Eastern region. That's why he was giving hundreds of millions of dollars to the big Muslim Brotherhood organizations, the Sunni militia, the Sunni terrorists on the Gaza Strip, in Egypt. He was giving them billions. He released the Taliban and gave $5 billion to Qatar, Muslim Brotherhood. They support Muslim Brotherhood. Qatar does. The Qatari nationals over there. What up, G's? It's crazy. And then what he did with Iran, the Shiite side to this thing, what he did to Iran, he gave 150 billion back. The Khomeini's worth 200 billion. The Khomeini dynasty in Iran is worth 200 billion. The Ayatollah is going to collapse. I'll tell you that right now. That's going to be scary. The Ayatollah is going to collapse. And we got to make certain that that Reza Pahlavi doesn't get in, the Shah's son, because that would be hell on earth. That's the Antichrist. Iran is going to be the next Nazi Germany. Thank you, Obama. Thank you, Hillary Rodham Clinton. But the point is, what went on, and then what they did with the weaponizing of the intelligence against Americans, the Obama Clinton crime family, and then we got these announcers pity-patting with it, dancing around with it. What does this mean? Susan Rice puts a memo and says, by the book, like we're some sort of moron. And they pick it up. What does this mean? Are you freaking kidding me? There were criminals in the White House. Absolute criminals. What does this mean? James Comey. I talked about it yesterday. They said, the lefty said to me, well, how do you know there's a deep state? July 5th, 2016. James Comey rewrote the U.S. espionage statute, invoked an element of intent that was not required by Congress for a felony violation of the U.S. espionage statute. He exonerated Hillary Clinton. The element of intent is not required for a felony violation, according to Andrew McCarthy, blind chief prosecutor. And Comey on national television rewrote the statute, and then he pardoned Hillary Clinton. Nobody said anything. It's okay. Susan Rice leaves a memo by the book. What does that mean? This is a joke. These people, these broadcasters, these journalists, they act like they don't have a brain. Of course they do. They're just trying to, they play the game. They just don't want to be real and honest. What happened over here? You got an administration that's in transition, right? And we talked about this last night. Comey was talking to Obama, worried about giving sensitive information about Russia to Michael Flynn, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, the highest at the time, one of the highest ranking intelligence officers at the time. Distinguished career, 30-year general, former director of the DIA. They didn't trust Michael Flynn. They were watching him. That's why they had to get the FISA warrant, because they had to watch Flynn. They weaponized the intelligence, and they strong-armed Flynn. They forced him to cop a plea. They used the intelligence against the incoming administration. Do the Americans understand? He got fired by Obama because he was telling Obama that Obama's a stealth jihad radical Islamist, right? Obama tried to cover up Benghazi. Do you know what happened to Benghazi? You don't even know. You're a lefty anyway. They didn't call the air support because they were afraid the radical Islamists were going to take the weapons that they gave them, the U.S. Stingers, the U.S. manpads, the Soviet manpads, and they were going to shoot down the U.S. Chinook helicopters with the manpads that they gave them. That's why. That's the rats that were running that White House. The rats. Bunch of rats, man. You come into the room and you talk to the bunch of rats running that White House. The Obama Clinton crime family. Trump comes along. He changes the game. So I stay home with myself, especially now with this quarantine. I'm self-quarantined. And I say to myself, what are these people afraid of? What are they really hiding? You would think that these so-called journalists like Chris Wallace, like these big-time broadcasters on Fox News, I love Fox News, but some of these cats just don't bring it to the table. You would think they'd say, why are they doing this to Trump? This is more than just. Absolutely. Look at Pelosi. They're still looking at. They're going to still try to impeach President Trump. And then we got guys like Napolitano, Judge Napolitano. What a rat! Oh my God, what a rat! These guys. What a rat! Oh my God. They'll put Cuomo on, another rat. Two Fredos and a Sandinista. It's crazy. They're going to try to impeach Trump. They had Mark Cuban was on the Hannity show. He said he's supporting Joe Biden. Sean Hannity asked him, why are you supporting him? He couldn't say one reason he couldn't give why he was supporting Joe Biden. Not one reason. Usually you ask me Trump, I'll tell you right away. Trump's the leader. Trump makes it happen. Trump loves America and he makes it happen. He built the greatest economy in the history on the planet. Most people employed in the history of this country, of the world. And he'll do it again. But the point is, he had Cuban, Sean Hannity, and Cuban couldn't name one thing about Joe Biden, reason why you want to vote for Joe Biden. Not one. Not one. It's sick. It really is. It's really sick. I think it's just pure hate, He probably thinks that he could do a better job as president or whatever. And that's whatever, God bless him. He's the owner of Dallas Mavericks. God bless him. I just couldn't believe that. I honestly, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that. Joe Biden. He even considered Hillary Clinton. Criminals. These people are criminals. Trump made his billions before he got into the White House. I just couldn't believe it. All right, whatever you say, Gary, obviously you're really out to lunch. It's okay. You hate Trump. Gary, you know something? You're a lefty. No problem. I have lefty friends. I really don't care. I'd have more respect for you, though, if you just told me you hated Trump. I'd say he's a Trump hater, If you hated Trump, I'd say, okay, you're a Trump hater. I respect you. At least you told me. Instead, you just come in here like that other guy. Fabo was trying to ask me these stupid questions. Just tell me you hate Trump. I respect you. At least you're honest. I respect your honesty. It's beyond belief. So I was just like blown away. I was watching mainstream media today. You went to a Trump rally. Did you vote for Trump, Gary? Who'd you vote for? Oh, we got another winner in here, AC. Who'd you vote for, Gary? In Tallahassee. Who'd you vote for? Tallahassee, Florida. Who'd you vote for, Gary? Oh, that's Gary Johnson. Oh, wow, that's brilliant. That's real good. You might as well say you voted for Hillary Clinton. Voted for Gary Johnson. You voted for Hillary Clinton. Okay, at least you're honest about who you voted for. I think that's stupid, but you're entitled to you do whatever you want. It's America. Unbelievable. It's crazy. So this thing with Susan Rice, what mainstream media is doing with this thing, I just don't understand it. Oh my God, she wrote the memo. What does this mean? Are you serious? What does this mean? Go by the book. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. We got to give us more analysis than that. That's ridiculous. That's why it reminded me of the fake birth certificate that Obama put out in the open source. So fake that everybody was talking about it. It was like a subterfuge not to talk about his fake, fraudulent selective service registration card. Because in 1980, Jimmy Carter was seriously considering a draft. So you had to get into the pool. It never happened, but you had to get into the pool. You had to get into the pool. Beyond belief. I'm just like, what, what does this mean? And then you got guys like Juan Williams going on Fox News telling everybody, well, there's thousands of maskings. The Obama administration did it. The Trump administration did it. But then when you hone in on it, they were all done in December after the election. We were in transition, and we were in transition. We were in transition, Monarch. The Trump administration was getting ready to get sworn in. Trump was putting together his transition. He had his transition team, and he was picking his cabinet. And they took the intelligence and used it against the Trump administration. That is Maduro would do stuff like this. That is the sickest thing I've ever heard. And I listen to these pundits, and they act like, it's a debate. This is the problem. This is why you got fake news everywhere. And this is why Fox News has got to take a position. You can't prop up fake information with the real information and debate about it. There is no debate. You can't sit there with a straight face asking people, what are you talking about, Mark? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't believe Obama was American, and I'm entitled to feel that way. I don't care what his skin color was. I don't care, white, black, I don't care. Obama to me is like Ted Cruz. I called out Ted Cruz when I was at ABC. Ted Cruz was born in Canada. And they had these amendment. I think the 14th, the 14th or 15th Amendment. That he used that amendment saying that I don't care. This is not the courtroom. There was wiggle room with this thing. Ted Cruz got 500 delegates with a Canadian birth certificate. Give me a break. 500 delegates. He was almost president, the nominee. Well, who read them the Riot Act? Who read the Clintons the Riot Act in 08? I'm just floored when these broadcasters, these journalists, sit there going, what does Susan Rice's memo mean? What does that mean? Or they'll say, the unmasking. And they'll bring these on like Juan Williams, and they'll give you these ridiculous explanations. They did it with the Obama thing. They've done tens of thousands of unmaskings. The Trump administration has done tens of thousands of unmaskings. And they'll sit there, they'll try to debate this. When you're debating with fake news, what's the real news? They weaponize the intelligence against the incoming administration. That's real and honest information. Fox News right now, I don't know what's going on over there. And I have much respect for Fox News. Tremendous broadcasting network. But they're starting to sound like the rest of them. I'm very disappointed. Because I think they got some really serious journalists in there. But come on, man. There comes a point in time you got to take a position. Because if you're propping up fake news versus real news, the real deal, you're promoting, you got fake newsmakers. You got Donna Brazil, she's a fake newsmaker. Juan Williams, he's a fake newsmaker. Shepard Smith was a fake newsmaker. That chick Marie, whatever her name is, the white chick from she was from the State Department, Marie Harper, whatever her name is. She's a fake newsmaker. You got fake newsmaker Leslie Marshall. She's a fake newsmaker. These people are fake. These people are fake. Fake. So you got fake newsmakers promoting fake news. So what's the debate? Your debates are going to be fake. You got one on Trump, one for the fake news, and then you got the broadcaster. They go back and forth. What comes out of it? Fake news. Right? That's like you're telling us the Obama-Clinton crime family hired the ARB, Pickering and Mueller, to investigate the accountability review on what went down with Benghazi. I saw Trey Gowdy was in charge of that oversight committee. He hit Hillary Clinton hard, right? Hard. And I'm listening to Hillary Clinton. He had it so he set her up. She tried to win it. She went right where he wanted her to go. And then he said, what are you talking about? Pickering and Mueller were fixing the witnesses in favor of the administration. It wasn't he was implying that it wasn't a unbiased review, because the conclusion from the ARB on Benghazi was that the Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton were not responsible. They were not responsible for what went down in Benghazi. That's basically what they were saying in their final conclusion. They exonerated Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton. What really went down over there? General Soleimani, Hezbollah, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, terror cell inside of Benghazi, Ajabaya, Derna, 45 degrees northeast, Ajabaya, 90 degrees north, logistical technological support, human assets pipeline, logistical technological support from Ajabaya right into Benghazi. The Hezbollah, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Quds Force terror cell. And they were material supporting with money, weapons, and training from Malaysia, 8 to 10 million Kenneth Tillerman data. Sunni militias, Al-Qaeda in Libya. And they didn't give you the real reason why the Obama-Clinton crime family had our military on stand down, why they didn't send in air support for the Americans in the Benghazi mission, was because of the 20,000 Soviet manpads that were given to the Al-Qaeda in Libya with Mustafa Jalal and Abdel Hakim Belhaj, and the 400 FIM-92s that the Obama-Clinton crime family gave, U.S. Stingers. And they've already shot down a Chinook helicopter in Afghanistan from the Iran-fronted Taliban. That's a Hezbollah, Quds Force fronted Taliban that shot down that Chinook helicopter with our own weapons. So the Obama-Clinton crime family was afraid if they sent the air support that the Islamists, using the weapons that we gave them, would have shot down our Chinook helicopters. It would have been a nightmare for the Obama-Clinton crime family. That's why they had them on stand down, because they armed up Al-Qaeda in Libya with manpads, and they were afraid that the Islamists were going to shoot down our people with our own weapons. That's the kind of leadership we had in the White House before our great President Donald John Trump. And they'll sit there with a straight face and nobody will talk about it. These great journalists. So to move forward, because I want to get out. I'm tired. I want to go. I want to get out of here. What time is it? So I'm going. We're going to talk about China. Trump may do the same thing. Okay, you're right. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, Gary. Trump's show. Yeah, right. Sure. This is what I mean. Do you see what I mean, Gary? You don't want to call it. You don't want to call it like it is. Trump got in. He dropped an MOB on Syria. He dropped an MOB in Afghanistan. He whacked al-Baghdadi. He whacked Soleimani. He pulled out of the Iranian nuke deal. Yeah, Trump, like Cuba, Mark Cuban says. Like Mark Cuban says, Trump doesn't show leadership. Are you kidding me? This guy's on freaking. I mean, this guy is supposed to be an intelligent man. This Mark Cuban. There's no stronger leader we've had since Ronald Reagan. He's the greatest president. Donald John Trump is the greatest president we've had since Ronald Reagan. And he's going to go down as a great president, man. He's one of the greats, what this guy's done. Between the economy, with the military, the energy sector, Obama had us on a chokehold. Regulations, no drilling. Well, AC, you're entitled to your opinion. You're a lefty. But the point is, Trump was decisive. The rules of engagement alone, he gave the generals full authority to unleash the U.S. military. Trump is saying to the world, American supremacy, American supreme, we want to call it American exceptionalism is a better word. American exceptionalism is back. President Trump told the world when he dropped those MOBs on the Islamists, when he whacked Soleimani, when he whacked al-Baghdadi, and he's unleashed the military, he's told the world American exceptionalism is back. That's the greatness of Donald John Trump. Not with these commie lefties, because I wouldn't feel so bad if Nancy Pelosi was a John Kennedy Democrat or a Ronald Reagan Democrat in the Democratic Party. We would be able to talk. We'd be able to agree to disagree. But these Democrats are stone cold commies, stone cold socialists. That's all they are. That's all they are, man. And we are the Trumpocrats, the Trumpicans, the independent Trumpers. We are the Reagan Democrats. We are the Kennedy Democrats. We are the Trumpers. And we're going to vote for Trump again. Can't wait to November 3rd, 2020, because he's going to win. Unbelievable, man. And I like Fox News, bro. I think they're the best broadcasting. The only chance we got is with Fox News. Everybody else is so badly against Trump. And it's amazing. What are they hiding? I've been sitting with this quarantine trying to figure out what are they hiding. And I'm thinking Monica Witt, Lisa Page, that whole Iranian double agent in the FBI. That's one plausible thing. And things like that. Only God knows what Obama gave Russia before he left. Obama's probably a Russian KGB agent, right? What they were accusing Trump of, Obama is a Russian KGB agent. Wouldn't that be a kicker? Wouldn't that be a kicker, huh? And just look at it. Venezuela, the next Syria. Who's in Venezuela? Iran, Russia, China. Who's in Syria? Iran, Russia, China, North Korea. We're above Raqqa. We got 8 to 10 above Raqqa. Below Raqqa is Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. In Syria, what does China have to do with Syria and Beirut? Oil? They bought oil fields in Iraq, did China. They bought oil fields in Sudan in Africa. We got to watch Venezuela. So I found a few things before I get up, because I want to talk about China. Because we believe that we quickly to go through the vectors. We believe that anybody else in Facebook Live. I didn't check the other pages, but the next I got to do is get the chat going get a unified chat room. If I got to talk about it, I got to see if I get a unified chat room. So you all got it. You all got to download my app. It's free. You know. So I found a few things I want to talk about before. Just to quickly, I want to quickly go through the vectors, right? Because we're saying that it was three countries colluded. China, Iran, and Russia colluded to take down the United States economy and slow down, stop Trump. No rallies. Try to help keep him off the campaign trail because they don't want Trump to get reelected. If you believe China, Russia, and Iran wants Trump reelected, I think you're in another world, right? They slow Trump down. He's not campaigning. They slow Trump's economic ambitions for America down. The economy shut down. Iran, China, and Russia were talking the same talking points. They blamed America for the Wuhan virus. And we know, based on the activities of China and Iran and the complicity of Russia, that this was a outside looking in, no U.S. Congressional Oversight Committee, no International Atomic Energy Agency, no Joint Chiefs of Staff, no National Security Council, no access to classified docs, nor do I know anyone who has access to classified docs. Court papers, judges' decisions, peer-reviewed journal articles, and well-sourced, well-researched open source articles. What we're searching for is a quasi-model, quote-unquote, statistical significance, and all likely, no probability, look for trends, differences, and patterns in the data, and then we attempt to successfully reach reasonable, responsible conclusions. And by the way, we believe our conclusions are close. Classified information is the mean. We're within a standard deviation of the mean. The Russo disclaimer, right? So we believe that we're creeping towards statistical significance. I'm not saying incontrovertible truth. I'm over here in Brooklyn. I don't know what happened in Wuhan, in China. I've never been to China. I don't know. But we know it was a major, major cover-up. And how do we know this? We know one thing. China quarantined Wuhan. Can't fly throughout China, but you can fly throughout the world. General Keane, the 4-star general, 3-star, 4-star general, believed he's highly confident that China tried to reduce other economies because their economy was in free falling based on the virus. So they want to reduce America's economy. So allow Wuhan residents to fly. So we got a plane, the Ma-1 Air, according to Secretary of State Pompeo, entered China 55 times in February. That's the Khomeini's airline, right? So we got an IRGC contingent, say half a dozen, flying in to China 55 times. They get COVID, they get infected with COVID in China. They leave, they go back to Tehran. Right? Now from Tehran, right? So just to give you a few more pointers, right? China was hoarding the PPE, the masks, the gowns. They hoarded it. The ventilators, the gloves, they hoarded all that material. The supplies to treat the COVID patients, right? In addition, according to the BBC, Ma-1 Air was spreading the virus. According to German intel, President Xi was colluding with the World Health Organization to cover up the information about the human-to-human transmission. So they were covering up what was going on in Wuhan. And that took the Wuhan virus and turned it into a global pandemic, a human bioweapon. So that's what we're calling this. So now we go we got the Ma-1 Air from Tehran flying into China 55 times. We got, hypothetically, We got 6 Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps members on this Marwan airplane. They go into China, they get off the plane, and they get infected. They go back on the plane, they go into Iran. They get out, they are infecting Iran. Quite frankly, I don't believe the Islamic Republic of Iran government really cares about its people. And then there's a lot of evidence to show that. It's like almost like North Korea and the way they treat their people. They have concentration camps. They whack their family members in North Korea. Iran, I mean, the IRGC, Ahmadinejad in '09, they just couped that election. They just stepped on the people and just kept Ahmadinejad in power. They do all these highly questionable activities between calling out and wanting to debt to America, blow up Israel, and they're acquiring nuclear energy by way of Russia. And Obama gave them the money to acquire it so they can blow up America, blow up Israel. And the way we're sanctioning Iran, and they use the likes of Babak Janjani off of Port Labuan to sell 22 million barrels of Iranian crude. So the government of Iran is very wealthy. But the people, the Khomeini dynasties worth 200 billion. 200 billion. He owns Marwan Air. Him and the IRGC, or part of it anyway, right? So from Tehran, they can either go to city of Sahedin, where 600,000 Iranian Sunnis live, and they can take the train and go through Turkey, or go right into, what does that look like, Nazar? Go right into Moscow directly through Baku and the Caspian Sea. But they could stay in Tehran and take the train from Tehran, go through Turkey and go into Moscow, or just take the Marwan Air right into Moscow. And that's what we're going to say they did. So we got a half a dozen infected with COVID Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps members with money. They're bringing money and drugs, dirty money, radical Islamists, and the COVID. They go into, now from there, see, we analyze the vectors. We look at the ground. You can use the ground from Wuhan to Tehran, Iran, but it's not efficient. They're flying. So, and Marwan Air just changes this whole game. So from Moscow, they got to get into the Western Hemisphere now. They don't want, the ground don't look good, because even if they went from Moscow to Belarus, Poland, Germany, then try to go through France, UK, or Spain, you still got you got that big water mass. I don't agree with you, Gary. That thing was spread, according to the BBC, that was spread by Marwan Air. Marwan Air was spreading the virus, according to the BBC. What up, Betty? The beautiful state of Arizona. God bless you. So there's a big water mass, right, between Western Europe and the Western Hemisphere, right? You got the Atlantic Ocean. So to get into the Western Hemisphere, they're going to fly from Moscow to Caracas, Venezuela. So Venezuela is where we're going to talk now. Just to give you an idea of how, that's beautiful, Betty. God bless you. Just to give you an idea on what and how the Maduro regime, who was originally the vice president of the Chavez established its relationship with Iran and Ahmadinejad, right? But the point is Maduro sent about 900 million in oil to Cuba. So Cuba now is becoming part of this equation. So the Maduro regime, according to, what is this? The Associated Press or the Miami Herald? The Maduro regime gave 900 million in oil to Cuba, despite the humanitarian crisis that Venezuela is going through. In addition, right, Maduro has the money to alleviate the shortages of food and medicine in that country, but has preferred to pay debts to Russia, China, and continues sending money to Cuba, the Cuban government. The regime paid the Russian oil company Rosneft over $1.5 billion to reduce debt. Maduro sent China just under $3 billion worth of oil and $900 million in money, in dough, to Cuba. That's about $5 billion that could have been spent on food and medicine for the people. This is what Maduro's doing. So basically, what he's doing is he's doing what the gangsters did in Syria. Assad couped the Syrian government. There was no election. The people had to leave. Millions of people had to leave Syria. It's a colony now. It's a colony now. It's an Iranian colony. Syria is. The Cuban government. Damascus. The regime paid the Russian oil company Rosneft over $1.5 billion to reduce debt. Maduro sent China just under 3. So, just to give you an idea, my phone was acting up. Just to give you an idea on how bad the Maduro regime is, right? They're like the Assad regime. When Soleimani was alive, he was sending 3 to 15 billion to Iran, to Syria. When Assad was collapsing, he went to Russia. Russia's in Syria. China's in Syria. Iran's in Syria. Iran's in Venezuela. Hezbollah is in Venezuela. Hezbollah is in Syria. We're talking about Margarita Island now. Margarita Island. Now, according to Radio Farda, what up? What up, head? What up, head? So, President Trump called in the Joint Chiefs. He called in the commander of the U.S. Southern Command, Craig Fowler, and basically what they said was Iran has deepened its wow. So Iran basically has deepened into the Spanish-speaking media coverage and has exported its state support for terrorism in our hemisphere through Venezuela, like we've been saying. According to Secretary of State Pompeo on Fox, Hezbollah has active cells. The Iranians are impacting the people of Venezuela throughout South America. So they're in our hemisphere now, right? Additionally, now what we found is the Islamic Republic of Iran has close ties with Venezuela for some time. Iran has close ties with Maduro regime, and previously we spoke about this, Hugo Chavez with Ahmadinejad, right? And they're saying that, they're claiming that Hezbollah has had terror cells inside of Venezuela since the 1990s, which I'd love to find out. According to a July, I'm going to get this report. So Hezbollah had terror cells in Venezuela in the 90s. That's off the hook. That's crazy if that's true. In a July 2003 report by Mark Steinitz, the then director of the Terrorism Analysis Office in the State Department, the Bureau of Intelligence and Research. If that's true, that's off the hook. That's unbelievable. I got to get that report. Margarita Island is the safe haven. Margarita Island off the Caribbean coast of Venezuela. It's right next door to Trinidad. I could not believe when I was looking at the map how close Trinidad is to Caracas. I'm just like blown away. So Islam has got to be moving through the Caribbean islands as well. maybe through Cuba. If I look at Cuba into Florida, into Miami, and then from Miami into Florida, they can go right up there into the vector that Adin Sharike Juma used, the Saudi national that got whacked in Pakistan in 2011. He was going up and down those vectors with the El Paso, Texas terror cell with the FBI asset. So basically, I'm going to talk about that right now. I'm going to put this on hold. So if that's true, I got to look at the map and make sure. But I'm pretty certain that from Cuba to Florida isn't a bad way. Isn't very hard to get into from Cuba. I'm not certain. I don't have the map in front of me, but I'd be willing to bet. I haven't looked at it from Cubano. From Cuba into Florida is not hard. Probably. So that's why Trump has got the Southern Command on notice, as well as the Joint Chiefs Milley on the U.S.-Mexican border and the Canadian border as well, the northern border, right? So Margarita Island, which is off the coast of Caracas, the Caribbean coast of Venezuela serves as a hub for drug trafficking and Hezbollah, as well as other Islamist extremists such as Hamas. And they've had a Hamas-Hezbollah conference on Margarita Island. According to this article by Radio Farda, Margarita Island is being used by Iran and Iranian-linked militias as a base of operations. This is crazy. In the Western Hemisphere. According to that 2003 report by Mark Steinitz, he further added that attention has focused on the group's presence among Lebanese Shiite in the 12,000 strong Arab community inside of Margarita Island. There are large Syrian and Lebanese communities in Venezuela which serve as valuable sources of revenue and offer support to Hezbollah and Iran.